I'm in Spain. I've come to a rural area of Catalonia to see how the current economic difficulties in Spain are affecting life in the villages. My first stop is a farm, where I meet Miquel Borras and his son Roman. Miquel is one of the few goat herds left in the region. For over 50 years now, he's been breeding the Cabra Blanca, a local breed of white goat famed for its meat. The animals eat twigs and grass in the woods. That keeps the area clean and reduces the risk of wildfires, Miquel explains. Ideally, he'd like his son Roman to take over the farm, but he only helps out part-time. He has another job at the town hall. Today, though, he's just in time for a special job, catching a kid which has managed to get out with the main herd. Miquel doesn't want to lose it, he says. Mission accomplished. Roman puts the kid back into the pen. Things used to be very different here, his father explains. Most people in the village worked as goat herds. What's become of them, I ask. Do you mean the goats, laughs Miquel? No, the people. Over the years, they've moved on. People have left in search of jobs. Once the village had 2,000 residents. Now 800 are left. When people really bred the local goats, 2,000 people lived in Rasquera. This is Rasquera. The village now has a new hope for overcoming the economic troubles: cannabis cultivation. At the top of the hillside the village is built on, there's a statue of Jesus Christ. Nothing on the scale of those in Rio de Janeiro or Lisbon. Rasquera is far too modest for that. Things are still quite simple here. Every day, announcements and adverts come via a loudspeaker system. Les mil y una flor, plantes d'interior y exterior, a molt bon preu. Mayor Bernat Pelliza wants to preserve the rural character of the place and its basis in agriculture. The problem is, Pelliza explains, there's no real way to keep things as they are. There is no money from the outside, no technical support, no regional project. It's difficult to keep going, the mayor says. It's springtime. There's optimism in the air. But how to translate that into economic growth? The idea of a cannabis plantation is certainly unusual. But for Miquel, at least, it has its appeal. He thinks it's a great idea as long as it's legal. What else have they got here, he insists? The central government doesn't care about them. At least this way, the village can make progress, as long as it's done legally, he says. The mayor explains these legal worries are shared by many here. We have a lawyer's report confirming that our proposal is within the law, he says. We've also asked the judicial authorities to review it. If there's any indication we could be doing something illegal, they'll tell us. As the local council, the last thing we want to do is break the law. Somewhere here, an association of marijuana users from Barcelona wants to build 2 enormous greenhouses. Under strict supervision, they plan to grow cannabis purely for their members' personal consumption. The village would get 1.3 million euros for leasing the land. Rasquera is in debt. The village could try to make money through wind power, but Mayor Pelliza wants the internet tower to remain the only structure of its kind in his village. He sees a cannabis plantation as the less harmful option. We want to be able to carry out our environmental policies, he says. With the economic crisis, we couldn't finance them. But this is a real opportunity. Not everyone in Rasquera agrees. This man says he doesn't want to talk about the drugs. He doesn't approve. If the drugs come, then so will all the dregs. The proposals have become the focus of national headlines. And the debates in the village itself have become ever more heated. At this community meeting, tempers fray. In the end, a narrow majority votes in favor of the proposals. The issue proves so divisive that the rival camps now meet in different bars. Joaquim Gari once worked for the mayor. Now he's against him. They want to sell our village for a price that's too high, he says. He doesn't think the plans are appropriate. There must be other options, he insists. Like basket weaving, for example. The practice has a long tradition in this part of Catalonia. 82-year-old Maria Borrul is one of those keeping it alive. She says no one else can do this. It's a dying art. Young people today aren't interested in work like this. And when the 2 or 3 of us who are left go, then it's lost. But she loves it, she says, and will carry on until she dies. I also come across another local tradition. These women are baking sweet pastries called pastissets. They're popular far beyond the village boundaries. But that popularity isn't enough to keep the whole community in work. So how do other villages manage? I head a few hundred kilometers further west to the province of Castilla-La Mancha. Here, too, the good times are past. But there are clear signs of change, spearheaded in this case by Juan Ramón Vidal. Once he was a journalist, then he imported grain. After 42 years in Madrid, he made a conscious decision for the rural life. He says in places like this, the more run-down places, it's much easier to make things happen. In deepest Spain, things like freedom and flexibility still exist. Juan Ramón Vidal aims to create jobs, just like the mayor of Rasquera. He too is looking to a niche crop to do that, spelt instead of cannabis. Here we have a saying, it's up to the others to be inventive. We've long had the arrogance to enjoy the nice things in life. But wait for other people to do the thinking for us, he says. That's a pattern Juan Ramón Vidal wanted to break with. These women are producing pasta from his spelt grain. They are productive, and demand for the health food is rising in spite of the economic crisis. Increasingly, Spaniards are moving from the cities back to the countryside. One observer of the trend is Gonzalo González, who advises people looking to move into agriculture. He says more and more people are looking to start something new in rural areas. Many of them have ideas that are out of the ordinary. Juan Ramón Vidal has another unusual project of his own. He would like to breathe fresh life into these salt works. For centuries, salt was a key export of the region, bringing much wealth. He'd like to revive that, but he can't find a business partner. To invest here, you need a real vision for the future, he says. But the times we live in demand ever faster results. You have to do everything quickly, so it quickly turns a profit. But to his mind, that's like the Spanish saying, bread now, hunger later. If we could properly realize the potential here, within 5 to 10 years, we could have a plant that makes real economic progress. The foundations are there, he insists. But you also need the will. Anyone moving into Spain's agricultural sector needs a healthy dose of idealism. That can also be seen in another project back in Rasquera. It's the brainchild of Helga Herbig. 2 years ago, in the middle of the crisis, she went into business as an organic winemaker. Herbig was born in Spain to German parents. She's experienced firsthand the difficulties of starting a business here. And she knows how difficult it will be for her village to pull in more revenue without the controversial marijuana project. It's tough with the crisis. What alternatives do we have, she asks. It's good to promote local products. But too often, we see the middlemen or the vendors skimming off all the profits. For Spain's villages to turn the corner, new perspectives are called for, like those of Helga Herbig or Juan Ramón Vidal. With their inventiveness, they're leading the way. I hope others will follow.